We got Alan Crowder back here on the program. He's going to be taking on Greg Hardy at UFC on ESPN Plus 1 on January 19th. Alan, what's going on, man? How are you?
I am doing great, man. Hope you are.
It's been a while since we've seen you in the cage. It was about a year ago, maybe even more than that, since we last saw you fight. You were supposed to have that fight against Rashad Coulter. I believe it was in June. You had the injury. What was the injury that took you out of that fight, and how long was the recovery time?
I ended up having to tear my meniscus, some kind of flip knot tear. So every time I tried to straighten my leg out, it would re-swell back up. They went in, they cut out half my meniscus. It took about 3 months to heal up. And then I got back where I could start training again and then moving around. And that's, it's fully healed now. I was trying to get a fight for December, and then they offered me a fight for September, and my little girl was actually born. And then so I had to postpone that one. And then a couple of days ago, I guess a week ago now, they called me up and asked me about Greg Hardy and the fight in New York, and I was like, man, perfect, let's do it.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that matchup in a second because a lot of implications there, obviously, with the matchup. But how tough was this year mentally? Because, I'm looking at your record here. I mean, 2017 alone, you fought 3 times. You're a guy who likes to keep active. Was that difficult, just seeing the division move on and you're just on the sidelines injured?
Yeah, man. I mean, it was difficult, but I really needed the layoff, man. I've been training a lot. Like, so in 2017, I actually fought 4 times. And then it was a lot of wear and tear on the body, so it really done me a lot of good, healing up wise, healing old injuries that weren't going to heal up. When I hurt my knee and I couldn't train for that period of time, I had other injuries that, ended up healing up from the time I had to take off from my knee, so it really worked out, better for me, I guess. It was boring, sitting out and watching everybody advance and, being left behind, but, I'm ready to, make a comeback and 100% healthy and ready to roll.
No one likes talking about a loss, but obviously that's where you learn the most is when you lose a fight. Was it just a fact that you got caught against Justin Willis on that UFC 218 card, or do you look at something else that sort of contributed to that loss?
I mentally wasn't in the right place, for that fight. He did catch me. He was a lot faster than he looked, he's a fast guy, he's a very good athlete too. I think he's done one of his last 3 fights too. He's a very good heavyweight. He just caught me that time, and you live and you learn. You don't lose, you learn. So it works out.
And I know last time we spoke, this was more than a year ago. I know you did some training down in Florida. Was there any cross training for this upcoming fight? Is there any plans to do that?
Man, I love the guys down at Hard Knocks. I wish I could make it down there, but I just started up my own business, trying to run it. I got a little girl now. She's a couple months old, so I'm trying to stay home and spend time with her and train down here or up here.
And how has fatherhood changed you heading into this fight? Because I know it, like, as someone who's also a father, I know it really has an impact.
Yeah, it definitely does, man. I got more to fight for now. I want to make this money, and I got to put her through college and everything else. So I need the extra funding and whatnot. Just motivates me more to work even harder.
Yeah, no, that's great, man. And you mentioned the business. What type of business are you running?
So I opened up my own martial arts studio. It's New Millennium Martial Arts Conditioning here in Mebane, North Carolina. I have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Taekwondo, cardio kickboxing, heights and interval training.
Great. And do you have like a partner, or is this something you're doing on your own? How's
my
the
father's
business?
my father, he actually owns a fitness facility, and he went in 50-50 with me, helped me get it started and everything, and got everything, the way I needed it and up and running. So.
Well, I was going to say, and I'm sure that helps too from the financial side of things, not fighting for a year. You have your own business, so I'm sure you're getting in some income that way, and you're keeping your mind off stuff, just, running the business, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Let's talk about Greg Hardy. There's a lot to talk about here, but first, I know this is a fight you wanted for a while. At what point was Greg on your radar as someone you wanted to fight?
So I was watching the Contender Series, and he got on there and was talking about his ex-NFL football player and whatnot. And I watched him fight, and he knocked out the guy he's fighting like very, very quickly. And I was like, man, that'd be a good matchup for me right there. I was like, he likes to bang. I like to bang. I'm coming off of a knockout loss, and everybody he'd probably think he's going to knock me out, and I can go in and, turn some heads and ride his coattail and get my name out there and everything. And so people know who I am after I beat him,
Did you know about Greg when he played in the NFL?
I did not. I really didn't hear about him until after the Contender Series fight. Yeah.
Is there any added motivation just knowing his checkered past? I mean, it's been everywhere. We don't have to talk about it, but does that, knowing that there is, some stuff outside the cage that I think people feel like he didn't sort of, he didn't pay his time, so to speak. Does that add a little bit more to this matchup?
Yeah, most definitely. you got to put your time in. You know what I mean? And he rode that NFL thing right into the UFC, and if I could have got in after 3 fights, I would have done the same thing. You know what I mean? So I don't blame him at all for any of that. But definitely he needs to know that he's got a long ways to go, and that this ain't gonna be no easy fight. This ain't gonna be no 1 minute knockout for sure.
And on that same note, there was a lot of backlash to him even fighting in the UFC. Have you had people reach out to you saying, "Hey, man, kick this guy's ass because we really want to see him lose"? Have you had that at all?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've had, I don't know how many people's hit me up and told me, but I've had quite a few. You know what I mean? They want him to lose. You know what I mean, for other things he's done in his past. But I want him to lose too, just because I want to win.
Right. Yeah. You wanted to get that UFC win.
Yeah.
How do you feel like you match up against him here? He's obviously very explosive as an athlete. How do you feel like your skill set matches up against his?
I think my skill set is much higher than his. Athletic wise, he's a very athletic guy, very big, very strong, he's very fast. But I don't think skill wise he's got what it takes to be in the UFC. I think he's definitely got the build for it. I think after a few years of learning and continuing to train, he'll definitely be there one day, but it's not today and it won't be next month. So we'll see how it goes.
And sort of on that note, you talked about training close to home. Who've been some of your main training partners for this camp?
So I got a guy coming in, he's NCAA champion, Michael Machiavelli. I'm working with him Wednesday on some wrestling and stuff. Got some other coaches and stuff down in Durham, boxing facilities and stuff. Really been working on my boxing here lately, trying to improve that, trying to improve the game everywhere around, plenty of room for improvement, there always is, and never will be. You never be at peak, you're always going to have, somewhere to improve on. So I'm going around everywhere and training, calling in other heavyweights that I know to get to come in and train with me and stuff, to get ready.
Do you feel like the pressure's on him in this fight? Like I mentioned all those things before, just, him being from the NFL, there's people who want him to lose. There's people who feel like he shouldn't even be in the UFC. I know you're coming off a loss, but when you look at the pressure standpoint, do you feel like it's on him?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of pressure on him. I mean? I'm not, he was in the NFL, so he's used to playing in front of a lot of fans, so I doubt that'll get into his head at all. But just with all the people who, from some of the stuff I've read, the things he's got, going on in his past, I'm sure he's got a lot of pressure, and it's going to be a rough fight for him for sure.
And how much do you feel like experience will play in this fight? You've got, I think, 12 professional fights. He's only got 3. I mean, that is a huge gap. I know he's had amateur fights, but do you feel like that's going to play a role in this fight?
Oh yeah, definitely. I was 8-1 as an amateur, and then I'm 9-3 now as a pro. And then my only losses, they come from 2 guys who are top 10 in the UFC right now. So, I think it's going to play a big role in it. Okay.
And do you have to watch your diet as a heavyweight, or do you just kind of get to eat what you want?
So, like, for my last fight, I was planning on going down to light heavyweight. My last fight, I came in weighing like 230, and I was planning to drop on down to 205 after that fight or whatnot. And then I had my knee surgery and everything else, so I always eat clean. Just because you got to have, your body's a temple, you got to put the right things in it, or it's not gonna perform the way you want it to. So I try to eat not so much, not on a diet, but I eat clean. Oatmeal, chicken, vegetables, all the good stuff, sweet potatoes, all the, more healthy, more organic route.
Yeah, and on that same note, do you have to? Do you still get to enjoy Christmas at all with the fact this fight is on the 19th?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I'm gonna eat me a sweet.
That's the most important thing,
I'm gonna eat my sweet potato casserole. I'm thankful that I'm not somebody that's got to cut, 20 pounds. That I can walk around weight and be happy and fight, So good being a heavyweight.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, as a high level athlete, I know sleep's really important as well. With the dad duties, has that been affected at all, or how do you do the shifts?
Man, I've honestly been very blessed. My daughter, she sleeps.
Good for you, man. You're one of the lucky ones.
I'm one of the lucky ones because, we go to bed by 11 o'clock at night. 7 o'clock she wakes up, wanting to eat. My wife feeds her, and we go again. So she's a very good baby. I'm very, very blessed in that.
Who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
Jesse Ray is my boxing coach. Spencer Knupp is my MMA coach, and then Eric Jeffries.
And how do you see this fight playing out on the 19th?
I've definitely seen me winning. I figure second round, I knock him out. He's going to be gassed.
Okay, I like that. And what's next after this fight? I mean, I imagine the plan is to keep active as possible, just because you did have some time off.
Oh yeah, I had a year off last year. I'm planning on fighting every couple months. Next year next year. So I don't have anybody in specifically. I'm just gonna keep calling them, telling them line me up with somebody. Everybody knows I want Curtis Blades again. So that's definitely a fight on the radar at some point. But right now, I'm lining up my opponent right now with Greg Hardy, and I'm gonna stay focused on him, and I'll worry about the next guy when he comes around.
And no plans on dropping back down to light heavyweight or dropping to light heavyweight like you said there, or you
Oh,
set
man,
as a heavyweight?
yeah, it killed me trying to drop down. When I got to 230, it was killing me. I ended up getting down before I had my knee surgery. I got down to 223, and my wife thought I was smoking crack. You know what I mean? So it's just my body frame's just too big. You know what I mean? I'm sure I can make 205 if I had the right dieting instructor and whatever, but it's not worth it. You know what I mean? I like to eat, so I'm just gonna keep on eating and stay healthy. My strength is I'm a lot better right now at this weight than I was trying to drop down. You know what I mean? When I grab somebody now, they know I'm grabbing them, so it definitely helps out.
And last question before we let you go, downtime I'm sure is even smaller with the fact you got the dad duties, you got the new business, but are you getting in any TV time at all, any Netflix, any video games, anything like that in between all this madness?
I watch Netflix every now and again. So like whenever I'm working, I only basically sitting at the front desk, and when people come in, I train them, and then we have classes and whatnot. But in the time we don't have classes or whatever, I'll watch on Netflix. You know what I mean? Check out some animes and stuff like that.
Nice. Anything good you're watching right now?
I'm actually watching Bleach right now. So
okay, good stuff.
Yeah, I just started the first season on that one. Yeah, it's pretty good. I also like the Ranch on there too. It's not an anime, but it's pretty funny. So.
Good stuff, man. Well, we're looking forward to this fight. It's going to be awesome coming up here on January 19th. It is UFC on ESPN Plus One. Alan, always good talking to you, man. Just remind people where they can find you on social media. And if you have any sponsors or shout-outs, the floor is yours.
All right, man. On Instagram, Alan Pretty Boy Crowder. You can just type my name in on Facebook, Alan Crowder. I'm the second, by the way. My father will come up if you try to add him on there. Shout out to my sponsors. Haters Athletics started sponsoring me. They got me some cool gear. Spike Electricity, obviously my gym, New Millennium Martial Arts Conditioning, and my father's gym, New Millennium Fitness. Shout out to all of them, and I appreciate it.